They said they were going to do it, and they've actually done it. Honestly, I didn't expect they would do it this quick. I thought maybe they'll do it next year, but no, it's effective from 4th October this year. If you don't know what I'm talking about the new increment in visa prices and other immigration services or nationality services in the UK. So what are the new prices? What should you expect? Watch this video to the end. Ever since the high cost of living crisis here in the UK, lots of professions came out demanding for an increase in their pay. Talking about nurses, teachers, doctors, even train drivers, you know. So after the government agreed to these demands, they said we're going to find a way to raise this money because apparently they don't have the money, you know, to make up for the increments in the pay. So how are they going to do it? They said we're not going to increase taxes. However, they plan that they're going to increase the visa fees, the cost of the immigration health charge, etc., to be able to raise the money to cater for the increment in pays that they have promised these professionals in the UK. If you don't remember, let me just remind you.
If we're going to prioritise paying public sector workers more, that money has to come from somewhere else, because I'm not prepared to put up people's taxes, and I don't think it would be responsible or right to borrow more, because that would just make inflation worse. So what we have done are two things to find this money. The first is we're going to increase the charges that we have for migrants who are coming to this country when they apply for visas, and indeed something called the immigration health surcharge, which is the levy that they pay to access the NHS. So all of those fees are going to go up, and that will raise over £1 billion. So across the board, visa application fees are going to go up significantly, and similarly for the immigration health surcharge, for migrants who are coming to this country legally, they have to pay a fee to access the NHS, to contribute to NHS care. I think that's entirely right. Neither of these fees have been increased recently, and we think it's appropriate, given the costs for everything have gone up, that those fees, both for applying for visas and for accessing the NHS, go up too. That will raise over £1 billion, as I said, so it's a significant contribution to helping us pay for these
So yes, when they said this, I honestly thought maybe we should expect it next year somewhere, but they need our money that much. So now it's effective from 4th October 2023. So the increment is between, say, 15% to 25%. Not all categories of visas were increased. Some were actually maintained and some were actually reduced. So if you're planning on applying for a visa, the best thing to do if you don't want these changes to affect you is to submit your application before the 4th of October 2023. So let's look at some of the changes, right? I'll leave the link in the description so that you can access this table for yourself. For a visit visa for the short stay for up to 6 months, the current fee is £100, but from 4th October onwards, it's been increased by £15. So now it's going to be £115. Okay, and for those that apply for long-term visit visas, the price currently is £376. However, it's been increased by £24. Hence, it's going to be £400 from 4th October. And for the 5-year one, it is £670. However, from 4th of October, it's going to £771. Okay, so now let's look at the work applications made outside the UK. For, let's say, the innovator founder, I've done videos on this particular visa category, and the current fee is £1,036. However, the new fee from 4th October is £1,191. So the difference is about £155. The endorsement fee for those that are doing the innovator founder route, okay, is around £1,000. That has maintained. Okay, so these are some of the ones that were maintained. Nothing was added. And in the startup visa, the main applicants and dependents, the visa application was £378, and it's going to be £435 from October the 4th. The global talent, £167. It's moving to £192. And let's look at the skilled worker visa, where a certificate of sponsorship has been issued for 3 years or less. So for most nurses, most care assistants, most teachers coming, the visa application now is going to be £719 from 4th October. It used to be £625. And for those that are lucky and they get for 3 years or more, they are going to pay £1,420 now. It is currently £1,235. So the difference is a whopping £185. Okay, I know that this is not what is going to stop people from applying for visas. I mean, an extra £100, an extra £200. But what we forget is that they also promised to increase the cost of immigration health surcharge. So for those of you who don't know what the IHS is, the immigration health surcharge is the amount of money that usually you pay when you are on some particular type of skilled worker visas, so that you can access the NHS when you come here without paying when you go to the the hospital. Health and care worker visa holders are excluded from this amount or from this fee. I'm talking about doctors, nurses, care assistants, and all those in the health sector. We do not pay the immigration health surcharge, but for those that are coming under other skilled worker categories, like those coming to do IT and all the other ones that are not health related, they are usually required to pay something so that they can use the NHS when they come here. And they pay this for every year that they'll be in the UK. And they have promised to increase that one as well. So although looking at the specific visa category, the fee increment, the amount might not be so much. When you add the promised increase in the IHS in the future, it's going to be huge. And you know that most people coming are coming with their family as well. So even an extra £100 increment might not mean much, but multiply it if the person is applying with a partner and let's say 3 kids, or with a partner and 2 kids. That's when you know the exact difference. And then if you're already in the UK, this might not seem much, but for those coming from, you know, many African countries and Asian countries, when they do the conversion, an extra £100 is quite a lot of money back home. Now let's look at the study applications for those applying for student visas. So the current fee for student, main applicants and dependents is £363. However, the new fee from 4th October is going to be £490. And then for a child who's a student is moving from 363 to 490. And for the students as well, confirmation of acceptance of the CAS, £21. It's now going to be £25. Let's look at the optional premium services outside the UK. So sometimes when you're applying for a visa, you want them to speed up with the processing because you're in a hurry. Usually, priority visa service, the current fee for settlement applications is £573 extra if you want it fast. However, from the 4th of October 2023, it's going to be £500. So that is where there has been a reduction. So far, that's one of the reductions I've seen. So the priority visa service for settlement has been reduced by £73. Well done. And for non-settlement priority visa applications, it's from £250 to £500. Can you imagine? They've added an extra £250. And the super priority service, usually for these ones, they make the decision the next working day or something. If there's no issues, it's moving from £956 to £1,000. And let's look at the other ones as well. For those optional premium services, for those that are applying within the UK, let's say for me, I'm applying for my ILR and I want them to speed up the application process. If you want the normal priority service, or it is £500, and that one as well, it was not increased, but it's a super priority that has been increased by £200 from £800 to £1,000. If you get your BRP stolen or missing and then you want to replace it, it's currently £19, and from 4th October it's going to remain £19. So there are a lot of things here for those that are due to apply for a British citizenship. The current fee is £1,250 and it's being increased to £1,500. The life in the UK test, they maintain the same £50. Also, applying for certificates of sponsorship, £199. Now it's being increased to £239. But that is not your headache. That is your sponsor's headache. Usually they do pay for this. And I tell you that, I mean, it's illegal for them to charge you this amount. They are supposed to bear the cost. That's for the skilled worker visa or the Tier 2 Minister of Religion, Global Business, Mobility Senior or Specialist Worker. So I'll leave the very popular ones on the screen. That's of the indefinite leave to remain application. At the bottom of the page, they have written that application fee of £100 where the applicant is a Chinese national applying to mainland China under the Chinese visa scheme. And they said the skilled worker visa fees are reduced for those qualifying for health and care worker visa, and the fees after reduction are shown above. So basically, guys, this is the news. So now what we have to wait for is the increment in immigration health surcharge for those that are coming through skilled worker visas but not the health and care worker visa, to see, because this might seem small, but when you add it to it, it's going to be really huge figures. And I wish everybody the best. I hope that you are able to, you know, get this extra £100, get this extra £200 to make your application. But like I said, if your documents are ready, do not wait. Apply before the 4th of October. The list is actually very long, so I'll leave it in the description so that you can get access to it and go through and then see what to expect when you're coming. Okay, so thank you very much for watching. Bye.